Firstly, I'd like to say something about the importance of today. We place a lot of value in our open days. They're the start of what we call the matchmaking process. It's as much about you getting to know us and understand what we do here in Theatre and Performance Studies at Warwick, as it is about us understanding you, our prospective students, and the sort of things that you're interested in and what makes you tick. So today might be the start of that process, but there's more that happens beyond today. If you decide to apply to Warwick via UCAS, we'll first of all invite you to a applicant day. On the applicant days, you come and join us at Warwick. You spend the day embedded in the Theatre Studies department. And during that day, you'll have a taster workshop, a taster seminar. There's a campus tour from our current students, and you'll have a one-to-one discussion with a member of academic staff as well. It's all about getting to know you and making sure that it's the right fit for both you and for us. The investment that we put in the matchmaking process, it pays off because we have very few students that drop out from our degree course. So we have a good student retention rate. During this presentation, we're going to paint a picture of what life might be like for you at Warwick. During the presentation, we'll start with the question, why Warwick, in a very broad sense. We'll then talk to you about why specifically theatre and performance studies at Warwick. We'll very much focus on what you might get up to on the course, but also, very importantly, the things you might do beyond the course. Finally, we'll talk a little bit about your career and what you might do with a theatre and performance studies degree. So first, I'm going to answer the question, why make Warwick your home? The University of Warwick is a campus-based university. It's in the heart of the West Midlands, 10 minutes away from the city of Coventry. Campus is buzzing day and night. There's a huge amount to do on campus. So there's the Students' Union, where there's cafes and restaurants and bars and clubs. There's Warwick Arts Centre, which you'll hear more about. And there's just lots happening from student societies in particular. Campus is a really great place to make the transition from living at home to living independently. Almost all of our first years live on campus for that first year before moving on to live in the nearby towns of Leamington Spa, sometimes Kenilworth, and certainly some towards Coventry as well. But the campus itself has a really great community feel. And that community feel is also very much part of us as a department, and we'll talk more about that later on. But the campus has the best of both worlds, really, because if you want to live the city life, you can do in Coventry, and Birmingham also, which is only 30 minutes away by train. But you also have the Warwickshire countryside, 5 minutes away from campus, just a little walk down the fields, and you're out in the middle of nowhere. And it's that best of both worlds which I think makes Warwick particularly special. So while you're here, of course you'll want to engage with the creative industries and with theatre. So what have we got? Well, as I say, Coventry is very close by. There you've got the Belgrade Theatre, which has a reputation for theatre and education. Birmingham, only 30 minutes away, you've got the Birmingham Hippodrome, you've got the Repertory Theatre, you've got the Old Rep, you've got the Midlands Arts Centre and the New Alexandra Theatre, so a huge amount actually there in the city of Birmingham. And then on our doorstep as well, you've got Stratford-upon-Avon, which is about 30 minutes away by car, if that. And there you've got the Royal Shakespeare Company. I mean, what a privilege to have that on our doorstep. And of course, we've also actually got London to engage with. It's 59 minutes by train from Coventry to London. So I regularly go to see things, particularly at the weekends, exhibitions and going to galleries and going, of course, to see theatre. So there's a lot going on both in our area and within easy reach. Even closer to home, we've got Warwick Arts Centre. Warwick Arts Centre is the largest multi-venue arts centre outside of London. So it's the equivalent of having the Barbican Centre plonked in the middle of our campus. What an amazing resource. The programme at Warwick Arts Centre is really diverse. It has theatre, dance, film, music, circus, you name it, we've got it. And the Arts Centre is there at the centre of our campus. The theatre companies that come to Warwick Arts Centre will be well known to you in some cases. We have names like Knee High and Frantic Assembly, Cheek by Jowl. Peter Brook, the acclaimed international director, has premiered works at Warwick Arts Centre, and I think that gives you a sense of its national and international standing as a venue. At the moment, Warwick Arts Centre has a 2,000-seater concert hall, a 550-seater theatre, 2 studio theatres, a cafe, a restaurant, a cinema, an art gallery, a lecture theatre, and the list goes on. But at the moment, we're in the middle of a major transformation. During this transformation, we're seeing the cinema become 3 cinemas, and the art gallery is being moved to a more prominent location on the ground floor. We'll also see the foyer spaces and public realm space transformed inside the Arts Centre too. This transformation is due to finish at the end of 2020, in time for 2021. And 2021 is a significant year for us here at Warwick because the City of Coventry won the bid to be City of Culture in 2021. What that means for us is that there's a huge amount of investment and also a huge amount of activity going on around the City of Coventry to do with culture, theatre, arts. So as a student here, we hope that you will engage in that programme, both as an audience member and also potentially as a participant or performer. The transformation of Warwick Arts Centre says something about the university's interest and investment in the arts. And so too does this new building. We as a department currently are based at Milburn House. We've been there for about 13 years, but we're about to move into the brand new Faculty of Arts building, which is due to be completed in the summer of 2021. In that building, we'll have 2 new studios, a number of new rehearsal rooms, storage for costume and props, a video editing suite, as well as lots of seminar and lecture rooms as well. This is another brilliant new facility for our incoming students.
So why study at Warwick? Perhaps the most obvious answer to that question is that Warwick is one of the leading universities in the UK. It's a Russell Group university. And what that means is that you can be assured that your degree has a quality that will stand you in very good stead when you graduate for whatever career path you end up going into. But perhaps more importantly, and what you'll experience on the ground, is the fact that this is a research-intensive university. And that means you are being taught by world-leading experts who are writing the books on the subjects that they are teaching. To give just one example, our Professor Nadine Holsworth teaches a module on national identities and has published a book, Theatre and National Identities. So there's a very close relationship between the research we are doing and the teaching we are sharing with you. Likewise, that applies to our practice. So within the department, we're lucky enough to have a great deal of practitioners who are working professionally in the industry. Again, to give you one example, Saul Hewish, who teaches an extremely popular module called Community Theatre, was one of the founders of Geese Theatre, which some of you may have heard of, and is one of the world's leading practitioners with respect to prison theatre. And there are many other examples within the department. So we have Caroline Griffin, who has a career history in theatre producing and marketing, and she teaches our production and marketing modules. Likewise, there's artists within the department, such as myself, who have their own theatre companies or otherwise do work in the field. So Bobby Smith, who teaches applied theatre, works as an applied theatre practitioner. And I guess what that means again is that the people who are out there in the world making things are teaching you in the studio. So there's a close relationship between cutting edge professional practice and what you will experience in the studio. A third area that I think is worth thinking about as you're going around lots of different universities, virtually at least, is to think about the international and interdisciplinary nature of the degree. So ours has a very global focus, and we look at lots of different disciplines. So for example, we have academics in the department like Yvette Hutchison who work on African and South African theatre. Likewise, we have academics in the department who work on the relationship between theatre and performance and other disciplines. So that includes politics, technology, geography and food production. So in that sense, in the course of the degree, you'll not only encounter theatre and performance, but an interlocking set of other disciplines, which is really mutually enriching to the subjects explored. The third thing that I would say about why Warwick is about what we sometimes call the bespoke and boutique elements of the course. The boutique element refers to the fact that we are small. We have small cohorts, and that means that you have a different relationship to your tutors and to your peers than in a larger setting. It means that you really get to know not only your whole year group, but across years. So there's on average about 30 or 40 people within a year group. So by the end of your degree, everybody knows everybody. And likewise, you have a very close relationship with the staff. So that's why we refer to it as a boutique feel. The bespoke element refers to the fact that we have a great deal of optionality built into the degree. In the first year, as we'll come on to discuss, there are the core modules. But after that point, there is a great deal of scope for you to chart your own path through the degree. This means that if you're particularly interested in directing, for example, you pick the modules which will enable you to pursue that path. Alternatively, you may be interested in a more broad-ranging approach, and again, the optionality allows you to do that. So that's why we describe it as bespoke, because you can pursue what matters to you.
Another reason to study theatre and performance at Warwick is absolutely because of our student societies. So beyond the course, student societies are extracurricular organisations, and Warwick has one of the highest number of student societies, if not the highest, in the UK. These cover all sorts of things, from hobbies and sports to cultures and faiths or campaigning, for example. But Warwick certainly has a huge number of performance societies. So no matter what you're interested in theatre, there is a society for you, and many of our students join multiple of these societies at different points throughout their degree. So there's Fresh Blood, which focuses on new writing. There's the Warwick University Drama Society, which tends to focus on published plays. There's Music Theatre Warwick, if you're an all-singing, all-dancing type. And Opera Warwick and Shakespeare Society, which kind of say what they are on the tin. There's Codpiece, which is about devised theatre and adaptation. There's the new BAME Creative Society, which is all about increasing the representation of black and ethnic minority groups in the societies and in the theatre industry as a whole. There's smaller societies like the Improvisation Society or PantoSoc, as well as Tech Crew, a very important society which looks after all the productions from those other organisations. The Warwick theatre scene for students is really quite impressive, and it's gained quite a reputation. Almost annually, our students take work to the National Student Drama Festival, which takes place somewhere in the UK over the Easter break. Also, our students very regularly take work to Edinburgh Festival. So in 2020, there were 3 productions that we know of that were due to go to the Edinburgh Fringe. So there's lots of opportunities beyond the course to get involved in theatre and performance. And certainly some of our students will tell you more about that later on in today's presentation.
So let me tell you a little bit more about the nature of the degree itself. So in the first year, there are 4 core modules. Two of these are more practice focused, and the other two are more lecture seminar and more theoretical, historical, critical. And the reason we have only core modules in the first year is because we recognise that people are coming from all sorts of different educational backgrounds and contexts. And so what we see the first year is a sort of training ground to get you up to degree level study, both in terms of your practical thinking and creative making, but also in terms of your critical skills, your writing skills, study skills, etc. And while we divide the degree broadly into the practice focused and the more theoretical modules, we very much encourage a synthesis of thinking, so that when you're in the studio, you're thinking critically, and when you're in the seminar room, you've always got a mind open to practice. After that first year, you move into the second year, and there is a core module called Interperformance, which picks up on those elements of interdisciplinarity that I mentioned earlier. So in this module, you will look at the relationship between theatre and other things. So it might be the focus on politics or technology that I mentioned. Equally, there's a core module in your third year, which is a dissertation. However, that dissertation can take the form of a traditional piece of research around 10,000 words long, which sounds daunting now, and at the time you'll find you'll be able to write so much more than that. Or you have the opportunity to make a piece of art, a piece of practice that is grounded in your research. In terms of the how, we engage in a wide variety of teaching methods. So you'll have one-to-one tutorials, you'll have seminars, lectures, practical workshops, and equally we have a wide range of assessment methods, and we believe in authentic assessment methods, so that there's a correlation between what you're studying and how you are assessed on it, but also that there is applicability to that in the quote-unquote real world. So in the marketing module, for example, you'll be putting together something like an audience development model, which you would do if you were working in that field. So we try to have two things in mind. One is how does the assessment bring out what you've been learning, but also how will you be able to take that forward in your future? So I'm just going to speak briefly now about the optional modules. As I mentioned earlier in the comments about the bespoke nature, it really is possible to forge your own path through this degree. So if you're particularly interested in acting, for example, you might want to take modules such as acting in character, you the performer, or you, me, and everyone we know, identity and performance. Likewise, if you're interested in the more theoretical approaches, you might take modules such as my module, Mad, Bad, Sad, Cultural Histories of Madness, or Theatre and National Identities, or Theatre History and Historiography. But perhaps you're also interested in writing, in which case you could take writing for performance or dramaturgy. Equally, if you're interested in the production side, we have modules such as marketing or the creative industries.
During your degree, we really encourage you to embrace as many opportunities as you possibly can. And here at Warwick, there are a lot of opportunities that will come your way. Firstly, to say something about our connections with the industry. We create opportunities for our students through our industry links, and that might be workshops and guest lectures in the department as part of the course, or as extracurricular activity in the department itself. These sorts of activities are also replicated at Warwick Arts Centre. And of course, on top of that, you've also got so much theatre that you could possibly see there at the Arts Centre. Seeing theatre is really important for your degree. And so we find as many opportunities as possible to have you engaging with live performance. At the Arts Centre, it's very easy, it's on our doorstep. And we also organise regular trips to other venues. So during this year, we've had trips to the Royal Shakespeare Company to see theatre in Birmingham, and also to see theatre in London at the National Theatre. So you'll be seeing work as part of your degree. Our connections with Warwick Arts Centre are manifold, actually, so there's a few more things that I just want to mention there. You can work there as a member of staff. Many of our students volunteer, starting as performance stewards and then progressing maybe to work in the box office, to work as a duty manager, an operations manager, or sometimes our students take on the marketing placement opportunities, or a placement in programming is also available. So lots of opportunities to work at the Arts Centre. In addition, we have this fantastic module called Theatre and the Creative Industries. And that's all about you getting to know what it's like to work in the creative industries today. That module is largely taught by professionals from the industry itself. So we have directors, performers, other artists, producers, we have venue managers, we have finance managers, arts council representatives, a whole range of different people coming in to talk from their perspective about the industry today. And that is a fantastic, valuable module to get involved in. We should also tell you about our placement module, which is where, as part of your second or third year and as part of your credits for the course, you can do a placement with a professional company, working with them for about 100 hours on a designated project. And the list of previous projects is endless, with numerous very well-known companies from around the UK. Another opportunity to mention is about our study abroad programme. Each year we have probably a handful of students who really want to take advantage of this opportunity. We have partnerships with a range of different universities around the world, and you basically spend a year in that university in their theatre and performance studies department. So in the last few years, we've had students that have gone to Berlin, to Dublin, we've had a student in Toronto, a couple that have gone over to Monash, a student in Amsterdam, and there are various other opportunities there as well. It's also worth noting that there's the chance to do modules outside of the theatre studies department as part of your degree. So if you're a person that's sort of torn between doing theatre or maybe film, or that you're worried about dropping a language, you could still keep up that language or still do modules in the film department here at Warwick as part of your theatre studies degree. You can take up to a quarter of your second and third year outside of your home department. And we should also tell you about our joint honours degrees. So if you're not sure between two different disciplines, you can actually do joint honours theatre with either English, with Global Sustainable Development, or with the School of Modern Languages as well. So keep those in mind if you're sort of on the fence. Now to say something very brief about our typical offers. As a standard, our offers would be ABB at A level, or the equivalents for BTEC and the IB. And there are various other details about offers that you can find on the website. It's worth noting that when it comes to A-level results day, sometimes our grade tariff drops slightly, and we would take slightly lower than those grades that are advertised and promoted there. So if you're a bit worried about achieving those grades, drop us a line and we'd be more than happy to talk to you about where you might sit with us and our course. We'd also like to take this opportunity to say a little bit about the type of offers that we would give out. Warwick only gives out conditional offers, and conditional offers mean you must meet the condition that we're putting to you. So in this case, it's ABB for A-level, for example. Some institutions give out what are called unconditional offers. These offers basically say, it doesn't matter what you get, we'll take you anyway. And we like to give a warning against those sort of offers. You might have seen them talked about in the press, and they've been quite heavily criticised in the last few years as a marketing tactic to improve and increase recruitment rates for certain institutions. Warwick has never agreed with unconditional offers, apart from to those who've already got their grades, so someone that's taken a gap year. And the reason for that is because there's research that has shown that students that get unconditional offers don't achieve their potential, because the message that they're getting is it doesn't actually matter what grades that they get, that the university will have them anyway. And we really don't believe in that. We want you as a future student to achieve your potential throughout your time at A-level or whatever else, and at university and beyond. And so that's the sort of person that we'd like to see on our degree course. So you might be the best student ever. We might really want you to come to Warwick, but I'm afraid we can only give you a conditional offer. So the point is, we don't want that to put you off choosing Warwick as the place to be. When a student comes to Warwick, there's plenty of things in place to ensure that they are well supported. Firstly, on a departmental level, we have the personal tutor system. Every student, as they arrive at Warwick, will be allocated a personal tutor, and that's a member of academic staff who will talk to that student about their academic progression and their career aspirations and their well-being throughout their time at Warwick. Those students will also be allocated a mentor. That is a student, either in second or third year, who will be able to help with the transition from college or sixth form life into university life, answering questions that us members of staff can't necessarily answer. There's also a student and staff liaison committee in the department, which is all about the strong relationship between the students and staff and the community that we build, ensuring that the student voice is heard and responded to by staff. Centrally, or elsewhere at the university, there's the Wellbeing Services team, and also the Residential Life team, who live in halls of residence to ensure that there's no problems in that transition from home to living independently. We also have a dedicated careers and skills advisor who's called Ray Ryan. He looks after our department and has a wealth of knowledge about careers in the arts. We also have very close relationships with the alumni team, and we run annually a range of alumni networking events, bring in some of our alumni into the department for our current students to engage with. And we also have a dedicated librarian. His name is Richard Perkins, and he's a saint. He really is fantastic at finding the right resources for our students for any work that they're doing as part of the course. Finally, to say something about what we call our extended family. That is our alumni. We're exceptionally proud of the alumni from Warwick Theatre and Performance Studies. They go on to do great things. It's often the parents at the open days who are thinking, well, what on earth will my son or daughter do with a theatre and performance studies degree? Well, let me tell you, don't worry, their future will be secure. First of all, many of our students go on to work in the creative industries. It's the natural place for our students to go. We have actors, producers, artistic directors, we have drama therapists, we have playwrights, we have designers, events managers, arts administrators, marketing experts working in the creative industries. They work for organisations like the Royal Shakespeare Company and the National Theatre, for Cameron Mackintosh and the Royal Court, the BBC as well. So a real range of different career paths that people take in the creative industries itself. Secondly, we have students that create their own theatre companies. Often these theatre companies are founded here at Warwick itself, in first year or second year even, if not third year. And they have a life then beyond the degree, which sometimes lasts for 10, 20, 30 years. So one of our most successful companies at the moment is a company called Breach Theatre. And their show, It's True, It's True, It's True, has been hugely successful in the last few years. And it ended up on the BBC on iPlayer during the COVID pandemic. These companies have been very, very successful in the past. In 2015, Andrew Hayden wrote an article for The Guardian asking what's in the water at Warwick. And that was because he'd been to the Edinburgh Festival that year, and some of the most impressive pieces of work he found out later were all from Warwick graduate companies. And there's something about the success of these companies in the things that they do while they're actually here at Warwick. They regularly take work to the Edinburgh Festival, they regularly go to the National Student Drama Festival, but we've also had work picked up from Warwick that in the last year went to a Chinese theatre festival because a producer saw it and thought it was brilliant and took it out to China. So, yes, they can work in the creative industries. Yes, they might become theatre makers and have their own theatre company. But thirdly, and possibly most importantly, there's lots of our alumni who work beyond the creative industries in all sorts of different sectors. And that's because the skills, the transferable skills that you learn on this degree could take you anywhere. So we've got graduates who are lawyers and solicitors. We've got lots of teachers. We've got people that work in journalism, lots of people that work in marketing and advertising, PR and the civil service. Again, the list is really extensive as to what our alumni go on to do. So the key message as we end this presentation is that a degree in theatre and performance studies from a Russell Group university like Warwick doesn't close any doors. You're keeping your doors open and can have a whole range of different careers as a result of this degree. So at this point, we'd like to turn to some of our current students to give their perspective on life at Warwick, the course, and all the extracurricular activities that you can get involved in here. So let's begin by turning to you, Holly.
So the reason that I chose Warwick was due to coming on an applicant day. I hadn't come on an open day, didn't really know much about Warwick, but really wasn't sure which university I wanted to go to yet to study theatre. And as soon as I came on an open day, I really loved that it felt like a small nugget of the university experience. So we got to do a practical workshop, which automatically is quite a daunting task for a theatre student to work with people straight away, but it was really easy to do, and it made me very excited to work with people who I hadn't worked with before. And a theoretical based seminar. It was really kind of great to talk about theatre, but on a wider perspective, kind of that step up from GCSE and A level, and kind of being able to engage with theatre on a wider scale. And also just having a talk with a tutor in the department really solidified that it was the place for me. I asked questions that I had any concerns about why Warwick and why they enjoyed being at Warwick. But also talking to other student ambassadors on the day as well, kind of finding out from a student perspective why Warwick was a great place. I kind of left from that day knowing that it was the place that I wanted to go to. The thing I love about campus personally is just that it feels like a home from home. Going straight into your first year, having your halls on campus is a great place for you to go back to in between lessons, but also for you to have the space to bring friends in as well, and meet up in the evenings and stuff, which kind of is not something that you necessarily have got to do before. Something else that I love about campus as well is that you have a supermarket at the top of campus, and there's a Tesco, but also on the central campus there is a bar, there's a pub, there's a corner shop, there's a little tea room. There's so many things on campus that you don't feel like you need to leave, which I personally liked, that I could kind of just stay in my own little bubble and kind of find my feet kind of outside of home. So to me, that was a really great thing to have. Also, having the Arts Centre on campus is a massive bonus for theatre students. We've gone and seen some amazing things at the Arts Centre in our first year, especially in our first term, which helped influence our work as well, which I thought was great. Lots of free theatre as well, which as students you don't necessarily get, and obviously it's such an amazing venue with such a wide variety of different shows to see, and also student society shows to perform in the Arts Centre as well. So I don't think campus can get better for a theatre student.
So I chose this specific course at Warwick because there was something really special about the way it was structured. So first year, obviously, everything is core modules, which I think is really important because it brings everyone to the same level, the same understanding of all the really important foundational topics for the rest of the degree. And then after that, everything apart from one module is optional. So I can do a completely different degree to the person sat next to me. So you can do practical based, you can do theory based, you can take modules from other departments and really make your own degree suited to what you want to do and your interests, which I think is so important for me, especially in a field like drama and theatre and performance studies, because there's so many avenues and areas to choose from. I think also with Warwick being such a good university, It means that regardless of what you pick, and if you venture outside of the department, you get excellent teaching with small class sizes specifically for us. So yeah.
Hi everyone, my name is Vish and I'm in my third year at Warwick. I'm here to talk about the student opportunities you guys have at the Arts Centre, which we are very lucky to have at our disposal. So one of the key features of our course is the connection our department has to the Arts Centre. So this allows students like you and me to become a youth theatre leader, which I have been for 3 years now. And it also allows students to become an assistant director for the Connections Company, which I've been doing for 2 years as well. So this key connection allows students to gain an insight and opportunity in becoming part of the creative learning team at the Arts Centre. And it also develops your skills when working with children in a theatre in education type setting. So all of the information can be found on Unitemps, and this is one of the many extracurricular activities that you can be getting up to at Warwick. So yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much.
One of the best parts about theatre at Warwick has to be the societies. The amount and the quality of theatre produced every single term is unlike anything I have seen anywhere else. We have access to the Warwick Arts Centre, which is an invaluable resource, and there are opportunities to put on theatre both on and off campus, which means any idea is achievable. The breadth of theatre covered across the societies means you could be involved in a student-written play put in a tiny music room or involved in a massive musical production in the theatre. There's so much that I didn't know about myself as a creative before coming to Warwick, and the university has really given me a space to explore that. I didn't even know what producing was 2 years ago, and now it's such a massive part of my life. Getting involved in Warwick drama gives you the ability to dip your toes into acting, directing, producing, marketing. There's so many things that go into creating theatre, and you can really figure out what speaks to you and what you connect with and explore all of those skills in a really safe and nurturing environment.
Yeah, because the cohort is much smaller, it's much easier to not only connect with your fellow students and kind of already know everyone by the time you finish your second or third week, but it's much easier to connect and engage with the teaching staff, and you feel much more heard. So, for example, there was one student who was very much interested in drama therapy, so the department was able to connect the students with someone who was a professional in that field. So the students were able to ask questions and see if this was something that was really for them. And also, because the cohort is much smaller, even if you have things beyond your module, like for example, in my first year, I started writing material, I was able to ask Natalie or Sylvia for their feedback, even though it wasn't connected whatsoever to my modules. They were willing to give me feedback. And it's just, you just feel more seen and more heard because the department is much smaller. The cohort is much smaller, I mean.
Hi, my name's Lucy and I'm a second year undergrad of theatre at Warwick. So I wanted to chat to you about a few of the amazing opportunities Warwick has on offer alongside doing a theatre degree. And one of those is getting a job on campus. So Warwick has an abundance of job opportunities throughout the year. These can be things like working at the student pub, the student bar, the coffee shop. There's so many opportunities, and also you'll be working with a really like-minded group of people, having a load of fun, and it's a great way to have a little bit of extra cash if you need help paying your rent, or just as disposable income to help you on nights out, or any of the like. It's great for. Another thing that Warwick really excitingly has to offer is its careers service, which will send you emails to do with getting internships and also graduate employment. So if you're interested in kind of the corporate world and other things alongside theatre, it's really, really great. The internships are fantastic and are a wonderful thing to get involved with. Please come to Warwick, it's great.
It's a journey and it has endless possibilities.
For me, Warwick is community, advancement, and home.
So the 3 words that describe life at Warwick, for me, are passion, community, and motivating.
Warwick is collaborative, growth, opportunities.
Warwick in 3 words is a fab time. See you there.
A huge thank you for joining us today for those insights into student life. If you'd like to hear more student voices, you can find a section on our website called Our Students, and there's lots of other information there from a student perspective. That brings us to the end of our presentation today, so thank you very much for joining us. A few final things. I began the presentation by stressing the importance of the matchmaking process, a two-way relationship where we hear from you and you hear from us. We're really keen to get to know you, so please do reach out to us via email if you have questions or anything you want to say about this presentation or ask. Equally, join us and follow us on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram at Theatre Warwick. You can email me directly, theatre-admissions@warwick.ac.uk. To end, I'd like to capture some of the key messages from this presentation. Firstly, if you come to Warwick, you'll have a campus-based experience that's about community. Here, you'll be taught by world-leading academics, but also by practitioners in really fantastic first-rate, brand new facilities. You'll have a degree that's bespoke and boutique. It's about small cohort sizes with a wide range of choices for your modules. Here, you'll benefit from industry connections at Warwick Arts Centre and through lots of partner industry experts. And finally, you'll have a quality degree from a Russell Group university which doesn't close any doors to your future career. Thanks again for joining us.